Clever little bugger, hiding right in the middle, right on that vein. I probably looked at him 10 times. I believe he, or she, I believe that, is what's doing stuff like this. Apparently a white moth or white butterfly looking thing. Harumph. Okay, for the second time this week, I thought it was going to be raining its behind off today, and it's not. At least not yet. We got 80-degree weather. And the sun is shining in my face, because I always like to do these videos in the sun. This is the pumpkin patch. Actually doing kind of well. These over here are watermelons, some pumpkins, some more different pumpkins, and then over here, the pulp of a cantaloupe that I buried. And these are cucumbers that just came up out of the mulch. There were a lot of them, like an entire cucumber's worth of seeds germinated and started growing. So I put a couple of them in the main garden. However, as you can plainly see, the ones growing out of the compost heap are doing much better. These are the sweet potatoes. This started growing really well, and that's where I snapped my slips off of. This is one of them. This guy right here with this mold or whatever growing down there, I believe that is from the sweet potato that this grew out of. Somebody please tell me quickly whether or not I should separate it or get rid of that mold. And then these other guys are also from those slips that I busted off of the big plant. So yeah, they're all different colors. I don't know if they're doing well or not. They're standing up. He was floppy. He's no longer floppy, so that's good. I never got a comment on my potatoes. I still don't know if I need to prune them. So I read that I can wait for them to die and then dig out the potatoes, but I don't know. I don't know what I should do. A lot of the stuff I read on the internet was wrong. Beans are in there. I don't know if you remember from the last video I did, my last garden update, there was a cage like running up the middle of my pot of beans, and I mean they're already producing beans and they're not very tall, so I think this was a bit of overkill. I might pull the little cage that I built out of my beans and put it with my tomatoes. Transplanted kale, doing much better now that it's got some room. Thank you, Jim, for that advice. It's definitely Jim. Told me I should back off a bit on space them out, space them and water them. Here's one of the little experimental garden trenches, my garden outside a garden. So I mean, the tomatoes are not dead yet. That's got to be a win, right? And these ones are mine. That little guy, that kale, not doing too hot. I think this actually, is that kale again? That's a butternut squash. There might be some kale that I transplanted. So it seems the kale is doing better in the pots than it is in the main garden. Maybe one or two of my peppers that I transplanted isn't doing very well, but I mean these ones made it a week, so I'm optimistic. And the cabbages that refuse to grow, they are getting a little bigger. So that was kind of a fib, but oh, that guy's getting eaten. And my gardener tells me that I need to go bigger. Plan to lose 10% of my harvest to various things. So thankfully I didn't only plant one cabbage because then it would be gone. However, I didn't plant 10 either. So I guess if I lose 10% of 6 cabbages, we'll have, I can't math, we'll have a couple cabbages. And thank you, Jesus, ever since thinning out these pots, I mean, the plants are still here. They're still doing well. Even my little guys down there. I decided to keep them just in case, you know. I did cut a couple of the leaves pruned a bit on these larger tomatoes because I didn't want them to, I needed to fuss over them, that's why. Spinach in this pot, or spinach in this pot, not doing well. So actually that's a funny story. They're doing better than I thought they would be. They had all but died. I mean, you remember seeing them from last week. Then, I see in the middle, I guess, I don't know if they were starting to go to seed, but there was something fuzzy in the middle, right? I think it was just more leaves trying to grow, now that I look at it. What is it? But, at any rate, I cut off all the yellow stuff, and it actually is continuing to grow. So, if this is seed, I don't know how viable it would actually, be, but I'm just going to let it go. I mean, no use. I've been putting a lot of work into it, trimming it up and stuff, so we'll just see what happens with those. And anyway, the kale over here, there's something to eat now. Not a lot, but I think I got an idea of how I'm going to do it next season. And the carrots still going strong. Quite happy with this pot of carrots. Update after the 2 days of rain that we did have. Yep.